compra, él vende, mueve el dinero, todo el mundo lo sigue, es el verdadero. Manda en el juego, nadie lo frena, con un par de risas lleva la pena. Ay, Mateo, el rey del mercado, con un trago de tequila y el alma de soldado. Sube, baja, su valor nunca cae, con cada paso que da, y el mundo se trae. No le importa el riesgo, la bolsa es su tierra. Si cae se levanta, no hay quien lo aterra. Su mirada fija siempre en la pantalla, con un toque de humor siempre hace batalla. Saca su móvil, vende una acción y en cada negociación es un campeón. Baila en el mercado con ritmo y fervor. Mateo no es un hombre, es un gran actor. Ay, Mateo, el rey del mercado, con un trago de tequila y el alma de soldado. Sube, baja, su valor nunca cae, con cada paso que da, el mundo se trae. Y aunque la crisis venga, él no se agüita, con su sonrisa la bolsa se agita, el dinero en su mano como el sol al alba. No hay quien lo pare cuando Mateo habla. Ay, Mateo, el rey del mercado, con un trago de tequila y el alma de soldado. Sube, baja, su valor nunca cae, con cada paso que da, el mundo se trae.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Folks, something about that song makes me wish I were already ripping a margarita. I mean, it is past 9 a.m. and it is a global, federal, national holiday. Like, I feel like if there were a day to be ripping margaritas at 9:02, today would be the day. You think I could just like Uber Eats a marg for the rest of this stream? It's just something about it. You can feel it. It's in the air. Like I'm picturing a nice, like maybe like a hibiscus, maybe a cucumber, maybe even like a passion fruit marg right now. A nice 9 a.m. marg just to get things going, just to celebrate a little bit after such a beautiful serenade to get rocking with the show today. Folks, it's a beautiful Monday. I hope you had a great Friday. I hope you made a bunch of money. I hope you had a great weekend and whatever you were getting up to. I hope you had a lot of fun and also made a bunch of money. And I hope you're ready to run it back, ideally for the third time today, Monday, May the 5th. Cinco de Mayo. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you had a good one. I hope you're about to continue the party higher and higher and higher. We're going to have a good day. We're going to have a good week. And ideally, by good, I mean very, very, very profitable. So here's the dealio. Here's what's going down today. I'm going to be kind of breaking down some of the major news of the weekend, of what to expect for the remainder of this week. Then, of course, we're going to be diving into the major numbers and open interest and key levels of not only the overall market, but a little bit of commentary on some individual equities. And then if you guys want, I will leave it up to you whether you want to know where the market's going to go today via the Wheel of Destiny or from the Cat Tarot card set. You guys will pick. I'm in that good of a mood. And the reason I'm in that good of the mood is because as soon as this show is over, your boy gets to go on a plane and I'm going down to Florida. I was invited to an options conference, like an options trading conference. And I just looked at the weather in Florida right now and it is beautiful. So here's what happened. Folks, I got to share this with you because certain days you just wake up and you know, everything's just turning up Mateo today. It really, really is. So I woke up and I checked the weather. I was like, wow, Florida's going to be beautiful. I know I'm going to Florida, so I got up even earlier, already crushed my 150 flights on the stair stepper. So my day was literally this. I got up early, looked at the weather, beautiful. Hit the stair stepper, got off. Your body is just being flooded with endorphins. As soon as I was done, I got an email from United saying, hey, Mateo, Mr. Mateo, congrats. You got upgraded. This is the first time in my entire life that I've been randomly upgraded to first class for no reason. I am so far down on that priority list. The chance of it ever getting to me is slim to fucking none. But today was my day. My day. Dude, it's my day. It was my day. Beautiful weather, excited for the conference, crushed the stair stepper, and then your boy gets upgraded? First time? Dude. This cabin, this United first class cabin, they're about to see the ugly side of tequila by the time I get on there. They're about to learn the dangers of serving tequila on Cinco de Mayo when you just randomly up. Like, I'm going to make them, literally by the time I get done with this flight, they're going to be second guessing, should we ever do upgrades at all? Like, maybe there's a reason we kind of delineate these two groups, because the group up here, they should be handling it, but they're just not handling it. So super stoked about that. And obviously, with everything good in life, there's going to be it's the yin and yang of the situation. Yes, that does mean, since I'm going down there, that we're going to have to take a two-day break. And on top of that, if you look at the schedule, as I'm about to share with you, that means that we're not really going to be hanging out with the FOMC meeting together. But I do have a bit of a surprise for you. So you guys are most likely, unfortunately, I know you probably went through some MK show withdrawal over the weekend. And I'm giving you a little bit of a fix right now. But unfortunately, you're going to have a little bit more of a withdrawal tomorrow. We have a bit of a plan for you guys, to just anyone who's fiending for it on Wednesday. And then everything's going to be returning to normal on Thursday. So I just want to call that out. With the high highs of life comes the low lows. So as much as everything's turning up Mateo today for me, unfortunately, the negative has been absorbed by you guys together, like as an entire community. So it's just going to be one of those things. But hey, if you're in the beautiful state of Florida and you see some guy on the beach with a couple empty pitchers of sangria around him, just understand I'm not in danger. Just understand, just get me to a local Texas Roadhouse and I will bounce right back. So just understand I'm living my best life. Living my best life. This wedding is bullshit. What wedding? Are you at a wedding right now, Moto Dallas? Cinco de Mayo, 9 a.m.? You're just at a wedding? What in the world is happening? I thought my life was crazy, but we have someone at a 9 a.m. wedding on a Monday at the start of May. I guess different strokes for different folks. Here I was thinking it was crazy, but which beach are you heading to? The one in Florida. I think it's called the Ocean. I'm not really sure. I didn't really get that much into geography or geology, so I'm not really the guy to ask, but maybe, just maybe, they'll let me fly the plane today. I really do think I could pull it off. But anyway, that is besides the point, because beyond me yammering on about where my day is going to go, I have a job here. I know you guys all pay big bucks to be paying attention to this premium show, so it's probably best that I actually break down what's going on in the market today, because I don't want you guys to feel slighted. Right now in pre-market, you can see we have a little bit of a gap down situation. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, Palantir's holding, but a lot of these other tech stocks are taking a bit of a breather. Stock futures fall after the S&P 500 notches the best winning streak in 20 years. Now, for those of you who properly did your homework last night and watched the update video, I can see, based on the amount of people already here on Rumble and on YouTube, that not everyone here in real time did your homework. So I just want to say that it's a little bit awkward, but I know not everyone watched the update video. And if you didn't, I want to give you like one little interesting tidbit from that show. If you look at the daily chart, you're going to see that we had 9 green days in a row. Count them all out. I know it's tough for most of us, but for those of you who are really good at math, if you count them out, you're going to realize that there are, in fact, 9 green bars in a row. The last time the S&P 500 was able to pull that off was more than 20 years ago. In fact, it happened in 2004 that we've been able to put 9 days back to back to back to back to back. And you would say that by the time you get to 9, once again, I know counting in here is not necessarily our specialty, but according to the nerds in the lab, this does actually equal 9. So will we be able to go for 10? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, as of right now, we're kind of scheduled to open around 5641. We closed out at 5686. So yeah, we could get those 40 points. Right now, the expected move on the day is 0.8%. So that could kind of get us up into this territory. There is a little bit of resistance there. I'll give you a deep dive, but you can see we're kind of stuck in this gamma zone right here. 5675, 5635 might be putting some bounds on the day. Honestly, this right now, this is in the Discord. Everyone in there, there's in the coffee thoughts early in the morning. I do a full breakdown of everything that I'm seeing going on in the overall market. And right now, it's setting up to be a noisy, like I'm not really on a zero DTE perspective saying, oh, the bulls are in control, oh, the bears are in control. Today might be kind of like a choppy, ping-pongy, noisy type of a day. As of now, and of course, anything can change, especially in this environment where you can get announcements at any second. But right now in this environment, barring any crazy news, we're not seeing a powerful trend in one direction or the other. So this wasn't the day that I'd be like kind of degenerately going for those larger swings. If anything, this is kind of setting up for a day of like, hey, if you want a zero DT trade, get in there, low risk, get your scalp profits, and then move on. But I'll explain that better in a second. Taking a step back, over the weekend, there was the annual Berkshire Hathaway conference in Nebraska, and it was announced that Warren Buffett, a true legend of the Wall Street, is stepping down, ending his 56-year run, something like that, almost 6 decades. Warren Buffett to remain Berkshire Hathaway chairman, Greg Abel to become the CEO at year end. Once again, this was better covered in the update video yesterday. Highly recommend you check it out. But the guy is just lights out. Since 1964, Berkshire Hathaway has returned 5.5 million%. If you had invested $10,000 in 1964, right now it would be worth over $500 million. And obviously, if you're comparing it, because this is a game of comparison, the S&P 500 in that same time frame only returned 39,000%. I know I'm saying only 39,000%, but it very much feels only when you're comparing it to 5.5 million. Buffett has outperformed the S&P 500 by over 140 times. This is why he's not just a legend of Wall Street, but he's so impressive that he's in a certain way pierced just normal culture, everyday culture. When you ask people who know nothing about the market, everyone has still heard the name Warren Buffett. Another just funny thing here, and this was, like I said, in the update video, one of the CNBC headlines for this particular story was that investors were shocked to find this out. What do you mean shocked? He's 94, 95, maybe 96. He's in his mid-90s, worth $168 billion. I think it's shocking that he even made it to this point and didn't decide to just hang out on a beach and do whatever he wanted to. Shocked, dude. The guy's almost 100 years old, and he self-made himself $168 billion. And everyone's like, What? This completely caught us off guard. What do you mean it caught you off guard? I think it caught us off guard that he didn't retire 2 decades ago, literally over 20 years ago. Absolutely ridiculous. But yes, right now in real time, we are seeing a big changing of the guard, and we are seeing the retirement of one of the best to ever do it. This guy is up there with Livermore. This guy is up there with Jim Simons. Like, there's a couple people who are just, for one reason or another, they are the Jordans of this particular domain. And I would actually argue that Simons and Buffett are actually probably better than Livermore. I know he's kind of famous because of the book Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, but remember, at the end of the day, he ended with zero. These guys ended very, very deeply in the green. So that was some of the crazy news over the weekend. Then bringing us to this morning, Trump downplays economic concerns as he looks to cut trade deals. So this was a sit-down interview between the president and Wall Street Journal. Trump addresses concern. Can I get this music? It is way too loud. Kind of blown. Sorry if I blew out anyone's eardrums. Here.
Cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have $3 instead of $30, are you saying
they don't need
Americans
$30.
could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have $30. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
This. Look, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
Are you worried about a recession?
No.
There you have it from the president himself, the old doll and pencil, I guess, economic indicator. I guess it is the natural expansion and retraction of the average dolls owned by, what did he say, 11-year-old girls. I also, for just a second here, feels a little bombastic. I don't know if at any point in my life did I own 250 pencils. Half the time I've found it to be tough to find one pencil. So I feel like that particular measurement, maybe the units involved in it was a little, I don't know, crazy, a little outdated. 200, like, are we counting colored pencils in that? I'm just saying, if this becomes an official index of which we measure the economy by, we need more clarification. Because if you're just owning 250 like normal, basic graphite pencils, we gotta talk about it. That's, I don't know. Maybe I just grew up in a really poor area where you were lucky to have 2 or 3 pencils. But I mean, at a certain point, that's like a legit workout. Like you're at that point, you're not a student, you're a weightlifter if you're bringing 250 pencils to school. So I don't know. Interesting commentary as of this morning. Trump suggests some trade deals may come as soon as this week. Could be massive. President Donald Trump suggested that his administration could strike trade deals with some countries as soon as this week, offering the prospect of relief for trading partners seeking to avoid higher U.S. import duties. It could very well be. When asked whether any trade agreements were coming this week, he didn't specify any countries. Well, it most likely is going to be something like India. That seems to be the one. There is a chance as of right now, based on all the news over the past couple weeks, that it could be Japan, but we definitely know it's not China. President Trump says he has no plans to speak with China's President Xi this week. Trump says China is ripping us off, and Chinese and U.S. officials are talking about different things. So right now, we're getting all these vagaries, I suppose. Like, we're kind of like, hey, like, we're making progress, but nothing seemingly set in stone. On the note of China, how bad is China's economy? The data needed to answer is vanishing. Beijing has stopped publishing hundreds of statistics, making it harder to know what's going on in the country. As the old saying goes, when your economy is running really, really well, you gotta just start hiding all the numbers because you don't want the rest of the countries in the globe to get jealous. Folks, there's no way you could fairly interpret the fact that Beijing has stopped publishing hundreds of statistics as a negative thing. I would say they don't want the rest of the world to be jealous about how good it is all going over there. They're like, no, we know that people look at this, even when they say they're not competitive, they know people are competitive. So they're probably just doing this for the betterment of everyone else involved. I want to be clear on this. The fact that they are stopped publishing hundreds of statistics, no way should you interpret that to be negative. Like, you honestly shouldn't. That's just, it's racist. I would actually say that it's actually racist of you to assume that that's bad, because if anything, I think they have the interest of everyone else involved where they just don't want us to get jealous. If anything, we should be sending them thank you cards, maybe a little bit of a gift basket, perhaps a fruit basket, if that's something that they're into, because it's just really, really nice that we don't have to compare it. So I guess I just want to cover that because I think I'm seeing some people on the internet interpret this story wrong. And to be fair here, I didn't read the rest of it. Obviously, I'm just going to be presenting this on the headline news. There's no reason for me to know anything beyond the headline because as soon as you read the headline, obviously you're going to be an expert. But I would assume that they just go into the fact that it's just so incredibly strong that they don't want anyone else to be jealous. So that's exactly how I would interpret it. Collections are coming from millions of student loan borrowers. It is no secret that between the Rona period and the Biden administration, in a general sense, people who had student loan debt were kind of getting a massive break. And it seems as if that free lunch is no longer and the bill is coming. The Education Department today, Monday, will threaten to confiscate tax refunds, federal benefits, and wages. Student loan collections restart for more than 5 million borrowers in default. The U.S. Department of Education will resume collecting on defaulted student loans today, Monday. More than 5 million borrowers are currently in default, and that could swell to roughly 10 million borrowers within a few months. So this could definitely cause a little bit of havoc, especially within the millennial age demographic, because to my understanding, some people were fortunate and their debt was just arbitrarily forgiven by the Biden administration. If you ask me, that's complete bullshit, because that means people like myself who pay taxes paid for other people to get bullshit degrees that why do I have to pay for it? I think college in a general sense is really going down a wrong path. I think ever since really the Nixon with Sally Mae and all that craziness, that the entire industry of higher education in the U.S. has been on a horrible path, and I think the fix here is to fix it upstream. You don't fix it at like right at the end where you're like, oh, you have debt, we're gonna whatever. If you want to do that, that would be so far, in my mind, so deep in the conversation past the fact of we need to fix colleges and universities to begin with to ensure that when we're basically, tricking 17-year-olds into taking on six-figure debts when their brains are still mush and they're barely even forming. And then we're like, oh, by the way, this is actually going to be the most toxic debt you ever take in your life, because even if you declare bankruptcy, you can't get out from under it. And just to boot, to make this whole situation a little bit more fun, we're going to make about 90% of these majors so fucking useless just because everyone wants to some bullshit underwater basket weaving degree that has no viable place within today's market. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So it's just a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. So this idea that Biden thought, oh, let's just fix this horrible thing, but like at the end, like by just saying, yeah, we're going to forgive people, but let the entire industry keep pushing forward in such a just like a truly, truly toxic, horrific manner. I don't agree with it at all. So it's going to suck for these people who thought they were going to catch a little bit of a break. But this, I don't know. I'm deeply of the opinion that colleges and universities need to be massively reformed, and not just from the financial standpoint, but what they are and what they offer. I forget the exact statistics, so I don't want to cite something inaccurately. But whatever percentage of degrees you think have no positive ROI on the actual average college cost, it is actually way higher than you possibly anticipate. It's really, really, really messed up. But just want to let you guys know that, because I know some of you in here are probably going to be impacted by that. And then, of course, depending on how this does or doesn't go, I'm not bringing it up just so you guys know. Of course, that is one aspect. But all of a sudden, if we see these student loans, like it's billions, if not trillion, it is literally in the trillions of debt owed because of college, that could have a serious economic impact, especially if it's in one way or another slows down demand from the consumer, especially within that millennial age group. So something worthwhile just to pay attention to. Now, getting a little bit more specific today, and really for the remainder of this week, we do have some very important major macroeconomic events. Today at 9:45, we're going to be getting the services PMI, and then at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting the non-manufacturing PMI and prices. So 9:45 and 10 a.m., 15 minutes into the trading day and 30 minutes into the trading day, we're going to be getting some data that will most likely just cause a little bit of volatility in the short term. Tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 p.m., we're going to be getting the 10-year note auction, and then the party really gets going Wednesday, where we are going to be getting the Fed interest rate decision. That interest rate decision comes out at 2 p.m., and then Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, aka Daddy Powell, aka Mr. Money Printer, he will be speaking at 2:30. Bond traders swing to Powell's side as Trump calls for rate cuts. Pop quiz. What percent chance do you think we have of getting a rate cut tomorrow? If you guys had to guess. Pop quiz, pop quiz, pop quiz. This will be reflected in your end of semester grade and potentially your end of year grade. This is not a fake pop quiz. So pop quiz, chance of a rate cut tomorrow. Some people are saying 0, 0, 0. You are wrong. 1% is wrong. 0 is wrong. In fact, Joe Gilly is the closest. The chance of a rate cut tomorrow is 3.1%. As of right now, the Fed fund rate is at 4.25%. The market is currently betting to the tune of 96.9% confidence that we will not be getting a rate cut. We're at 4.25. That is the bet that we stay at 4.25, giving it a 3.1% chance that we get a rate cut. So at this point, that 3% is really just probably Trump hoping that it somehow comes true. If anything, it's similar to the meme from Dumb and Dumber, where he's like, so you're saying I have a chance? Yeah, it's a really, really low chance. The chance is pretty much the equivalent of betting on green and roulette. Like, it is actually not that far off from just saying green will hit tomorrow. Ain't gonna happen, folks. There's a 3% chance. I can't sit here and say it guaranteed, but I highly, highly doubt we will be getting a rate cut this particular week. I guess running down the chain, just so you guys are informed, there's a 68% chance that we stay at the same rate in June. By the time we get to July, that is when there is a better chance than not that we actually get a rate cut. So we've been tracking this, and it moves a little bit forward in time, a little bit back in time. As of now, as of today's show, Monday, May the 5th, the first real shot we have of getting a rate cut is at the late July meeting. So at one point in time, it seemed likely for June, and even that, the odds are now going back up that we're not going to get a rate cut in June. So just wanted to share that with all of you. I should also let you guys know that even though last week was the big earnings week, 40% of the S&P 500 based on weight all reported last week, we still have some really important ones. Obviously, we talked about Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett stepping down, the Oracle of Omaha. Today, I know a lot of you guys in chat are big fans of Palantir, clocking a new all-time high. So that will definitely be an interesting one to watch. Ford, if you're more of the automaker industry. Tomorrow, Supermicro, AMD, Rivian. On Wednesday, you have Disney, Novo Nordisk, and Uber plus ARM after the market closes. Thursday, Peloton, Shopify, Coinbase, Cloudflare, DraftKings, Affirm, and then Friday, really, there's not much going on. Of course, feel free to screenshot this. It's also in the free newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. This comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. It's always been free. It always will be free. Highly recommend you sign up. I break down the previous week, what to look forward to in the upcoming week. I give you that exact graphic for the earnings, and then I kind of call out the ones that I think you're going to care about the most. Then I give you a little cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events throughout the week. And then I also give you the seasonality of each individual trading day for the S&P 500. So for example, today, Monday, May the 5th, over the past 27 years, this is the look at what your hypothetical equity curve would be if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. For the first 18-ish years, it was actually more favorable to be a bear, but ever since then, the bulls have taken a bit more control on this specific day. Over those 27 years, the better part of 3 decades, the bulls have won this day 48% of the time with a decent profit factor of 1.85, but that's been only from the past couple years. Later on this week, just because I won't be here, Tuesday's a bit more bearish, Wednesday's a slightly bit more bullish, Thursday's a bit more neutral, and so is Friday. So the month of May and honestly also the month of June, those 2 months, we get 8 weeks total of kind of just no strong seasonality. Any given year, it might be nothing, it might be bullish, it might be bearish, but the way it nets out when you look at all of this 8-week time period over the past 3 decades, there's no clear winner. Sometimes it's the bulls, sometimes it's the bears, and sometimes it's the people selling premium betting that the market's going to go nowhere. We're just not seeing a strong statistical piece of evidence that there is like seasonality that we should really, really care about at that point. Or I should say at this point, now also for the next 6 weeks or something like that. All right, bringing it back to the market for today specifically as we are narrowing in. We have 2.5 minutes to go. These are the major levels I care about in the S&P 500 today. As always, the green, the red, and the white are the previous trading session, i.e. Friday's high, low, and close. From a technical standpoint, from really an algo standpoint, those are reactionary levels. On top of that, we have all these yellow lines, which are the key open interest levels. So as of right now, we are scheduled to open at 5641. 5641 is pretty much the low from Friday. We have quite a bit of gamma support at that level right here. Let me switch to the 1 minute. You can see on the left side from the 0 DTE gamma, that is a positive gamma node. Remember, that kind of acts as like a little mini black hole. It's more of sticky price action, not necessarily bullish or bearish. It just means when you get there, expect it to be kind of choppy and sticky. And then on the top side, we have one all the way up at 5675. So those are the two major 0 DTE gamma nodes I'm watching out of the gate. Once again, 5635 and 5675. So in a certain sense, you could argue that this zone in between in itself is a transition zone. Based on another model of which I look at the market, there's another argument that there's a transition zone between 5675 and 5690. So that one, or you could fairly just put them all together and say between 5690 and 5635, it's choppy BS. That is a completely fair way to look at it. Oh my, ay caramba. So above that, I would say the bulls are a bit more in control. Below it, I would say the bears are a bit more in control. But right now, I want to make this explicitly clear. The way things are setting up right now for today, we are, as of now, and it might change when we can see the options flow, but as of right now, we're not really seeing that set up for the power to be strongly in balance one way or the other, as in the bulls completely in control or the bears completely in control. In more of the medium time frame, the bulls are gaining the upper hand. On a 0 DT basis, they kind of lost it. So by the time you net those two out together, it's just not really evident who is in control. So I'm of the opinion, wait for that 9:45 report, wait for that 10 a.m. report, wait to see the options flow, and then just try to, this is that, I believe, and remember, I'm not your mom, I'm not in control of your money, do whatever you think is best. I'm of the opinion that the underlying data set is suggesting this is not a day that you are swinging for the fences and just are expecting some big multi-percent just push and push and push. If anything, right now, it seems as if it's setting up very much to, if you can get in, ride the trend, you get your scalp trade, lock in your profits, shut things down, and move on with your life. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. It's not like you can take it with you when you go. Okay, as the market is opening, very quickly, a shout out to Public. We've been partnered up with Public for almost a year and a half now, and it's for good reason. This is the best place to trade options. In my personal opinion, I don't even understand how you could want to trade options anywhere else, and the answer to why is because I know of no other brokerage that pays you rebates to trade options. It is free to download. It is free to sign up. There are no commission fees. There are no per contract fees. And on top of all that, it doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. It doesn't matter if it's calls or puts. Every single time you trade an option, you get a rebate. If you're a profitable trader, it'll make you a more profitable trader. If you're not a profitable trader, it will, in a certain way, mitigate the pain because at least you're still earning those rebates. Now, of course, if you're trading stocks, they don't engage in payment for order flow. Yes, you can trade bonds. Yes, you can trade crypto. They have a high yields account. They have retirement accounts. Pretty much excluding trading futures, this is a one-stop shop for everything you need, which is exactly why this is where I trade my options. So highly recommend you guys check it out. The options rebates, it's kind of a tier system, as in you'll get paid off more depending on how much more you trade. To start off at a higher tier, use the link pinned to the top of chat. So once again, this will give you kind of a leg up of just arbitrarily signing up yourself. So use the link pinned to the top of chat. It's also in the description of the video. Shout out to Public, but if you want to start at that higher options rebate tier, highly recommend you use that link, and I highly recommend you check it out anyway, just because Public, in my humble opinion, in the world of brokerages created for retail traders, I personally believe that Public has the back of retail traders the most, and this is all based on my opinions of how things played out in 2021, where time and time again, when many other brokerages were fumbling the ball and basically seemingly making their market maker buddies happy, Public instead was doing everything in their power to really back up their actual client, you and me, the trader. So from just a moral standpoint, I align with them. Looking at their product, I love it. And then also more specifically, the rebates is why I don't understand anyone else could be on a brokerage that is not Public. So like I said, check it out, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, and make sure you use that link because you're going to want to start out at that higher rebate tier, and obviously a specialty shout out to Public. And on that note, how are we looking? We popped a little bit, gave a little bit back. I'm seeing a bit more red than I am green. In fact, the only green I am seeing is from vol itself. Looks like the VIX is back up to 24, gaining 6.6%. Thus far, the flow on the day is loading. I might have lost my cookie session here. I might have lost my session. All right, there we go. Here's a look at the S&P 500. Not much of a directional flow. Same thing with the Mag 7. Not much of a directional flow. So let's just take a couple beats. Let's just wait to see how some of this does or doesn't play out. Palantir and Tesla a bit more. MSTR is down 3%. Broadcom's down 0.9. I'm seeing a bit more red than I would like to over here. Let's see if it can catch itself at Friday's trading session low, create a nice base here, and bounce off of it. Remember, we do have natural support. Let me go to the 1 minute. We do have natural support at the low from Friday. And then also, as I was showing you before, we have, let me switch over to this. Looking at the 0 DTE gamma influences, we have support at 5635. So we're pretty much right at this big support. Do not be surprised if generically in this zone we bounce out of it and then make our way up to really this secondary transition level. So I'll be looking for this truly to act as support. If it doesn't, there is some other open interest support kind of basing itself at 5620. So if you need the SPY equivalent on these levels, I guess just kind of align the two charts. But I do want to remind you, feel free to trade SPY if you like the nominal value better, but please remember that the big guys, big institutions, hedge funds, insurance funds, they're not trading SPY, they're trading SPX. So we've all been there before where seemingly SPY is like transitioning and bouncing and getting rejected at seemingly like nonsensical levels. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, the answer to that is because it's reacting to a key level on SPX. Remember, SPY is simply an ETF created to track SPX, while SPX is the actual index. And when you're looking at big money players, yes, SPY is very, very liquid and there's a lot of trades on it. But at the end of the day, SPX is far more liquid and there's far more trades on it, which is why I'm always looking at SPX levels rather than SPY, just to kind of explain it, because I know sometimes when people they just get a little confused. They're like, well, hang on, I thought this was the index. No. Things like SPY and VOO, they're ETFs, exchange traded funds, created to mimic the actual S&P 500 in the best way they can. Same thing with the Qs. QQQ, that's another ETF created to mimic NDX, which NDX is the actual NASDAQ 100. So just to, I don't know, put on my teaching hat a little bit and let you guys know what's going on there. Palantir goes off today. Hopefully good earnings incoming. I suppose going into this, how many of you are bullish on Palantir's earnings and how many of you are bearish on Palantir's earnings? Hang on, I'm getting a text. I swear, if this is my flight getting canceled or delayed after I got magically upgraded, it's not. Oh, wait, it is. Shit. Due to FAA air traffic control staffing and the number of flights in and out of Newark Liberty International Airport is limited to safely manage the airspace around the airport, this may affect operations, potentially leading to days, longer taxi flights, and flight crew adjustments for airlines. We know you have places to be, and we're working to get your flight on its way as soon as it is safe to do so. View your flight status on the app. No, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. No. I swear. The time I get lucky. Don't do this to me. Did it get moved? As of now, it says on time, but it feels like there might be clouds brewing. The fact that I got that text right now. They just want you to get to the airport 4 hours early. I don't think so. I think I was just reading that a lot of air traffic control people walked out, and on top of that, they're doing construction on the tarmac or something like that. But as of now, it still says on time, but there are many hours to go between now and when I get on this flight, just enough for things to go really, really wrong. Really, really wrong. Anyway, the Qs pushing a new intraday high, bouncing off the close from Friday. The SPY, same thing, bouncing off the close. It's almost as if these levels are really important to pay attention to. Like, if only there were a person out there, super, super handsome in really cool buffalo shirts, that would call these out for us on a day-to-day basis. If only there were a service like that. All right, I do want to remind you in a couple minutes we are getting a data drop, and then that's at 9:45, and then we have another data drop at 10 a.m. So for me, I'm just waiting till those come out. Kind of other weird stuff from this weekend that I just didn't know when to include it, so this seems like a good time. Trump calls for 100% tariff on movies made overseas. The president called for the use of incentives by foreign countries to draw filmmakers and studios away from the U.S., a national security threat. A national security threat. God forbid they shoot the sixth Twilight not in the U.S. That would hurt national security. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the U.S. Hollywood and many other areas within the U.S. are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations, therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the U.S. Trade Rep to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. So for security, I would say if Moana 3 is not made in the US, I'm going to have a freaking conniption. If they don't, Goonies 2, Goonies 3, Goonies 4, if they think that they're going to make the Fast and Furious 11 to 20 not in the US, no way. No way. No way. All right. Market, we're at the point where we kind of just need to awkwardly kill 10 more minutes. The 5 minutes actually bullish, the 10 minutes trying to go bullish, the 30 minute also got rejected right at that test. 5 minute on the NASDAQ is bullish, 10 minutes trying to go bullish right now. Same thing, the 30 minute seemingly try to get going, but as of right now getting smacked. So it's kind of one of those things where if we could take out the intraday high from a very short term momentum perspective, the bulls are in a bit more control. From an options perspective, we're just not going anywhere. The Mag 7 is actually bleeding off. The Mag 7 options flow is a little bit more bearish than anything else, but I would say at this point, there's really no sense, especially as a zero DT trader or short-term scalp trader or something like that. There's probably no point in running the two data releases. Once again, for those of you who are just joining in right now, you are late to the show, so that is definitely a demerit on you. But at 9:45, we're going to be getting the S&P Global Services PMI. The expectation is 91.4. And then at 10 a.m., we're getting the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices. So once again, 9:45 and 10 a.m., those are two data drops to be paying attention to today. But today, by no means, is the big day of the week. The big day of the week is going to be Wednesday with the FOMC. And even though that's the big day for me, I can only speak for myself now. This might be, I hope it's different for you. But if I look at my history of trading on FOMC days, it is actually massively negative for me to trade on those days. So in a certain sense, I'm bummed out that I'm not going to be able to do the normal show with you folks. But from a financial standpoint for myself, I'm kind of happy because if I net out trading on all those FMC days, I'm so deeply in the red, so deeply in the hole that those are days it's honestly just better for me to not even look at the markets because I just get so completely whipped by everything going on that there's truly kind of no point to it, if I'm being completely honest. So just be careful with that, just because Wednesday, not only are we most likely going to be getting craziness from the announcement at 2 and then more craziness from Jerome Powell speaking at 2:30, but based on just recent history, Trump will probably also be saying stuff because as of right now, the odds are saying that we're not going to get a rate cut. Obviously, Trump doesn't like that. They very much want them to cut the Fed fund rate because even though it's most impactful on the 2-year yield, it is somewhat impactful on the full curve, and that would have the impact of lowering the 10-year yield and also raising 10-year bonds. Once again, the strongest impact, it's most correlated with the 2-year, but it still does have an impact on the 10-year. And right now, stated various times by Bessent, by Lutnick, and by Trump himself, an aspect of what they're trying to do from an economic, monetary standpoint is they're trying to drop the 10-year yield. Like that's a goal of theirs, and that's not really going to happen much. In fact, it's going to go up based on some of the recent developments in the overall economy. So they can't be feeling too good about that. But as of right now, the bears are seemingly in control. They are continually pushing on support. I want to say that again, pushing on support, as in we could easily just bounce off of that. They try to bounce it off this first level. No luck. Number 2, once again, this is a mega support level. I know it might feel weird. You're like, wait, why? Why 5635? Why this random level on the SPY at 561 and change? Well, I don't know why, but I can tell you that that's where people are playing. Right here. That's actually the biggest positive gamma node of the day on a 0 DTE perspective. And I just know that right there, instead of being slippery price action, which is what you get with negative gamma, that's much more of the sticky price action. So this easily could end up being the support of the day, and then wouldn't really be surprised if they just bounce at 40 points up to the next positive gamma node at 5675. So, would I be chasing this to the downside right here? No, you're literally shorting at support, which it can work for you every once in a while, but so can playing 2-7 offsuit in poker. So just because it could theoretically work for you doesn't necessarily make it a smart bet. So do I know why these big players played this level? I have no clue why they played. And in all honesty, I don't care why they played that level. All I cared about is the fact that they did play that level, and we're going to see the market makers behave differently when we get there. And look at that. We sold off, and that magic bounce. I mean, you could have took this bounce right here on an ES contract. We're already up 10 points, $500. Done. You could be done on the day just from one support buy, and you'd actually be feeling probably really good about yourself right now. A little degenerate, though, to be fair, just because we do have that data coming out in about 35 seconds. But from just a purely technical and also options standpoint, look at that. We hit that level, options flow just started to go right there. Those are the type of plays that it's just your Shaq going for a layup. It's just, those are easy plays. Just find the most important levels of the day. You get in there, you trade it with minimal risk, and then you just see if you could get lucky. And is it going to work every single time? No, but in the net situation, that's what you're obviously really going to care about. All right, where are we at? The data should be coming out now. All right, let's see if they're bringing our boy Rick back on after he roasted everyone on Friday. Give us our boy Rick.
We'll lose a couple of $1 billion, which we would prefer not to do.
Right.
But our CRI franchise, it doesn't change the value of that franchise or what we do for the broader set of customers that we deal with.
Did we overestimate the potential risk then a couple of years ago when it was, everything, when it was discussed so often by so many as a real risk?
Yeah, I think, in retrospect, we did. In terms of you look at how it's played out, but for good reason. Number one is you don't always know where the risk is in this environment. What people did underestimate is...
All right, I'm marking out the 15-minute Orbo, the opening range of the first 15 minutes.
And investors have
I like it. I care more about the 30-minute and the 1 hour, but
when you look at what we do, and
since we're here anyway, we might as well mark it out. The high and the low, first 15-minute bar of the pit session, the blue lines for the SPY and the Qs.
It's just the other side of that, it's de-risk balance sheets. Because it takes the conversation.
Shout out to Profit. S&P composite PMI 50.6, expected 51.2. The previous was 53.5.
Probably so, but the realities of the market are there.
Yeah. And how about you? How are you feeling after 5+ years?
The flow's been a bit more negative since 9/36.
I'm lucky enough. First of all, we have an amazing franchise. One of the most exciting things about coming to Wells, yes, it's got a responsibility to put the problems behind us.
Bring our boy Rick on. Come on.
One of the most amazing franchies in the country. We've got a great group
Live
of people,
from
many that have
Beverly
been there for a
Hills.
long time.
Missed the invite to that one.
From the outside, you do get a great sense of accomplishment across the entire team for getting these orders behind us and recognizing people broadly recognize.
This is incredibly boring. Oh, I haven't done this yet, so I probably should do it just for posterity's sake. Let me switch this up. I just want to show you guys that I have, in fact, not been degenerate today, and I haven't traded any of my accounts. I have my 20 Apex accounts. I have my 5 Take Profit. These are all SIM-funded prop trading for the futures market. Generally, I trade the NASDAQ contract, which is NQ on the futures market. Once again, this is just my 25 SIM-funded prop accounts, I use Apex, I use Take Profit. Right now, Take Profit is offering a better deal. Time and time again, I just trade the ones that are most financially logical. And if you were to buy an account right now, Take Profit is a better deal. And it does ping pong back and forth because this industry is basically built on a lot of changing deals from day to day, from week to week. It does take a couple seconds of research where on that given day, who is the best financial offering. And right now, between these guys, I would say Take Profit is where it's at. So just wanted to share that. And most importantly, explain that I have not traded any of them today. Wait, what? What is that sentence? Apparently, hang on, let me move over here. What was this question? Apparently the team accomplished, nope, that wasn't. When get you withdraw money from Take Profit? I got mine within a day. So last week I did $1,000 withdrawal from all 5 accounts. So it's $5,000. It's an 80-20 split. So I saw $4,000 of it and I got it within 1 day. I got it within 1 day. At least in my experience, they've been really, really fast. But I should also clarify, I've gotten a lot more payouts from Apex than I have from Take Profit just because I used Apex a lot more. Me using Take Profit is somewhat of a recent development. So not only have I used it, the Qs just got their 15-minute Orbo breakout. Fresh high there. Nice pump up and save at VWAP. So if you're a VWAP trader and you took that, congrats, even though it was a really difficult trade all the way up here at 937, went up to VWAP, got smacked, took out the low, and then pumped all the way right back up to VWAP. By no means an easy trade, but if you had the balls to do it, congrats, because that paid nicely, that recovery. For whatever reason, the tech sector on an intraday basis is looking a bit stronger just because it's already pushing its intraday high while the Qs are not. The Qs are getting pinned to, surprise, surprise, the key levels we've already called out today. Who would have thunk it? Potential trendline breakout happening right here. Trendline breakout right at the support of the low session from Friday. So that's actually not that bad of a trade. You could risk 39. You could risk the intraday low. That's not too many points. You might want to confirm, Mag 7 doesn't look that good. But the SPY is picking up. So it's not my favorite trade, but the 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour trying to go bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute. Like I said, it's not my favorite. The 10-minute is not successfully bullish. Look at wick. Just the market equilibrium is not letting it get above its 50 EMA. And then the same thing on the 30-minute, which was basically the pit sessions intraday high, where like it just got all the way up there and smacked. So like I said, you could take it. I'm not personally a fan just because, yes, that is a nice technical breakout, I suppose. But the Mag 7 flow is not good. The SPY did pop, came back, but I think more concerning is right here. The 10 and the 30 are actually still bearish. So for me, I'm not really a fan of it. Right now, actually, it's getting a little bit smacked, and that's what I'm attempting to avoid is buying those breakouts that then inherently just like turn right on me. So not the biggest fan of that. And more important than that, I suppose, as I know in about 9 minutes, we have another report coming out, the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices. So obviously I will just be waiting for those numbers to drop. Here, let's zoom in here. You can see this a little bit better. Yep, we still have a positive gamma node at 5675. We have another one at 5635, and it also happens to be a hedge wall. It also, well, the gamma node is there because there's a hedge wall there, and then also it's roughly in line with the low from Friday's trading session. So there's a couple of things coalescing roughly in this range which is why potential bounce might be setting up for shoulder, head, shoulder. That would be an interesting play, but technically it wouldn't be live until you break the neckline. So obviously shoulder, head, shoulder, inverse because we're upside down. But remember, that isn't really by like true definition of technicals. You don't really play that until the snap of the neckline. That's like where you start that. So one thing to look out. Another way you could look at it, and remember, when it comes to technicals, a lot of the times it's much more of an art form than it is an exact science, because as much as you might be able to say that's a inverse shoulder, head, shoulder, you could also just say it's a market structure shift, and we went from lower highs and lower lows to higher highs and higher lows. So you could call it a trend shift. You could call it I don't know, some form of a channel, and that's just on the 1 minute. You could see something completely different on the 5 minute, on the 30 minute, on the 4 hour, which is why I'm not against technicals, but I would never exclusively trade on technicals alone because they by no means give you the full picture. If you're exclusively trading on technicals, you're missing a large part about what's going on. For example, you could see this technical setup and then just have a wildly different options flow. So even with the same technicals, it would be telling you something different. For example, right now, if we saw this exact technical setup that we're seeing today, and then I saw the Mag 7 ripping, well, my concept of what this really means would be wildly different because this is a non-correlated secondary data source that you could use in conjunction and like overlay them together. So, like I said, I'm not throwing any shade on technicals, but what I am saying is there is a statistical increase of your ability to profit when you start looking at things on top of technicals. Technicals, in my opinion, are a great way to basically identify what your risk is, maybe just see some extremes of the market where maybe some other traders are reacting to it. But as a standalone thing, would not be a fan of just doing it. It would be tough. You could call it an MA formation as well, which is bearish. I have no idea what an MA formation is. I've never heard of that before. In fact, you could have made that up right now. But yeah, there's another way you could look at it is just, oh, this is lower highs and lower lows. That's just a generic bearish trend. So my point is people get really confident about technicals when they know how it plays out. But when you ask them in real time, it gets a little bit more suspect, and that's seeing it in real time is what matters because real time is when you're placing your trades. You're not allowed to place trades in retrospect. So the pure like chartist technical community, they get real confident using examples of like, look at this setup, and like inherently they know where it goes because it's a historic example. But doing it in real time is a completely different story. It's a completely different story. Is there a gap in the SPY? It depends if you're looking at the daily bars or if you're looking at the, hang on, what do we have going on here? Oh, I'm kind of watching VWAP. It depends if you're looking at the daily bars or the intraday bars. Those are two different stories. But generically, when people are talking about gaps, it's not rocket surgery, folks. You just look, did you open above the previous day's high or did you open below the previous day's low? That would create a gap on the daily chart. Above the previous high, below the previous low, it means you're opening outside of the range of the previous trading session. It really doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure those ones out. Oh, I really like this technical setup right now. Not so much the option setup, but I'm a little bit nervous about the news. What I'm looking at is just another attempt at VWAP here with a higher low. That's why I'm saying I like it, just because the bulls are being a bit more aggressive. At 8 a.m., they were buying down here. At 9:30, they were buying here. And now at 10 a.m., see how the bulls, like, think about the psychology of the bulls. If you're buying at a higher and higher level, you're becoming more and more confident. So not only are we seeing higher lows, but we're also seeing it being above VWAP, which is generically thought to be bullish. So that's not a bad trade. 37, you're risking 20 points. The risk reward, the only thing I don't like about it, well, there's two things I don't like about it. Number one, we're not seeing that much aggression in the Mag 7. In fact, we're seeing bearishness. We're just drifting down, and we haven't seen that buying quite yet. The SPY is bullish. So a bullish picture here on the S&P 500, more of a bearish picture on the Mag 7. But really what I don't like about it is I know there's an announcement coming out in about 3 minutes. So for me, I might miss it. If it's knowing my luck, if I get in, it's going to be a bad announcement and it drops. If I'm not trading it, it'll probably be an amazing bullish announcement and we rip and make a new intraday high on both the SPY and the Q. So, you know what? I'll take one for the team. I'm a nice guy. Don't say I didn't do anything for you, but I'm not in the trade right now because for those of you who are in the trade, I don't want to be the person messing it up. So like I said, don't say I didn't do anything for you. The fact that I'm not taking the trade pretty much guarantees that it's going to be a bullish reaction and we're going to pop. And it was actually a phenomenal entry where you can make a ton of money. But on the off chance I get involved in it, that's exactly when it would dump. So this is my gift to you so we can start out on good terms this particular week. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the sake of you guys, you know? Look at that. Probably, hell, at this point, you could have made your money even before the announcement comes out. If you took this breakout 34, we're up almost 20 points. You'd be up $400. You could set your stop to break even. You could set it to this low at 08. We just made that fresh high. Dude. Don't say I never did anything for you. So the S&P or SPY broke to the south side of its 15-minute Orbo, but on the 15-minute, it looks like the 30-minute's a bit stronger. And then the Qs broke to the upside. So the SPY breaking down, the Qs breaking up, and now the Qs showing even more strength. The SPY already hitting that stat that we know from Edgeful, that you have a 50-50 shot of the 15-minute Orbo of simultaneously breaking the high and the low at some point in that trading session. Happens about half the time. The 30-minute Orbo is a little bit different, and then the 60-minute Orbo, also known as the initial balance, has even less chance of reverting to the other side, which makes sense just because more time is passed, and you ideally have a bit of a stronger trend. But right now, I don't really trade the 15-minute. I have in the past, but I will let you guys know this. If you're just arbitrarily taking that 15-minute Orbo, you're not going to be successful. The only people I know of that are profitable trading the 15-minute Orbo, they put more of it together. There's other filters, whether it's technical indicators, options flow. They are by no means just exclusively trading the Orbo breakout or breakdown. So you can be profitable, but I don't think you're going to be profitable. Well, I know statistically you are not going to be profitable trading that by its lonesome. You definitely need it to have a buddy or two to be a bit more successful. All right, we are about to get this announcement, which also means we're about to have the 30-minute Orbo. We have 1 minute to go. I just marked out the fresh high. I just marked out the fresh high and low on both the SPY and the Qs. Let's see which way this Orbo breaks. Remember, the stats are a little bit more robust. They're a little bit more higher confidence on the 30-minute. What announcement is coming up? The ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices data is coming out at 10 a.m. It's not like an end-all be-all announcement. It's not the same level of importance of an unemployment report or of an inflation report or an FOMC announcement. It's definitely not in that league, but it is important enough for us at 10 a.m. Where you might just see a, 20, 30 point movement in NQ or some shit like that. So I try to not front run those. Well, new and improved discipline Matt tries to not front run them, but I definitely have done that in the past. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But let's just wait. This is coming out now. I guaranteed it. You guys are welcome. I said if I don't get in, I was thinking about getting in here at 9:55. I guaranteed it. If I did not hop on that rocket, that it was. You guys are welcome. Collectively, whatever the community as a whole just made on that pop, I feel like I deserve 1%. Because I definitely could have ruined that for all of you by me going long, and then the market would obviously have to dump if I took a long position. The fact that I didn't, not only, I think really showcases my benevolence, but it shows how much I care about you guys. It really, really does. I could have been in there with all of you guys, and it would have been absolutely torpedoed. But nope. Instead, I was a nice guy. I stayed out of the trade, and it allowed you guys to make a shitload of money, an absolute shitload of money. So congrats. Just made $1 trillion. That's actually still a lot of money. $1 trillion. That's a lot of money, dude. That report was way too risky. Everything's high risk if you're a pussy. Everything's high risk if you are a pussy. You know what? Someone said toss a coin to your streamer. Don't do that. You could just hit the like button. The thing that I find to be more valuable than actual dollars and actual currency is the currency of the digital internet space of how many likes and views do I get. So you guys, you don't have to throw me coin, but you could throw me, you just click that button, it pops up the like, and that fills my brain with more dopamine than actual dollars. So feel free to do that. Just smash that like, be like, yo, thank you so much for not screwing this play up for the rest of us. And just know I'm a good guy. Some people say Mother Teresa, others don't. All I'm going to say is you've never seen me and Mother Teresa in the same room together. That's all. I can't really comment on this matter. It is currently caught up in various legal cases, but what I can tell you is you have never seen me and Mother Teresa in the same room at one time. You're not going to, there's no evidence of it. There's no pictures, there's no videos. It does not exist. Rick is on CNBC? Hell yeah. All right.
Stock Exchange alongside Sarah Eisen and David Faber.
Give it to us, Rick.
Live in LA ahead of some huge interviews at the Milken Institute's annual conference.
Milken.
This hour, an interview you do not want to miss. Blackstone Chief Operating Officer John Gray is going to be with us. In the meantime, though, let's check some markets. About 2/3% declines for NASDAQ, S&P, 10-year hanging right around 434, actually rising a bit during the session. A few movers we're watching. Berkshire's board votes to name Greg Abel as its new CEO at the end of the year. More on that and what Buffett said about markets in just a moment. Media stocks under some pressure after the president announces plans for a potential tariff on any movies produced overseas. And then earnings beginning once again. Lowe's misses, Tyson misses on revenue. On Semi reports a loss, but they do beat estimates. We've got some more data crossing the tape this morning. Let's get to Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Meta. You guys seeing this?
We had S&P Global final April earlier. They both deteriorated the lowest levels on the service side since the fall of 23. Now these are ISM April reads. 51.6 is the service indice. That is stronger than expected, higher than the rear view mirror, best since February of 24. Now, if we look at the prices paid component, 65.1. Once again, this is zooming. We're expecting a number around 61. Our last number was a whisker below 61. This is the highest since Jan of 23, and in this case, highest is not a good thing. On the new order side, 52.3, best since Dece of 24. Once again, better than front and back, meaning rear view mirror and windshield.
Whoa. Spies starting to take a hit.
And, of course, we know in the rear view mirror, we had a good jobs report. This number is the only one that's in contraction territory, under 50, 49, but that's still better than expected.
People are buying puts and selling calls.
46.2 in the rear view mirror, 49.0, believe it or not, is actually the weakest, and the first time under 50 since June of last year. We were at 47.8. Now, what we want to really pay attention to here is the fact that these readings, the strong readings and the prices
look at that delta,
pushing yields higher.
Intraday high to intraday
right
low.
434
in
a
4
10-year.
minutes.
That's up 3 basis points on the session. It had been gravitating near unchanged. We want to pay particularly close attention to this area right now, 434. It's been a very important high-frequency pricing point. Any type of a yield close
30-minute try to
most
get
likely
going.
Continues to push rates more to the upside than the downside, which reversed last week. Sarah, back to you.
Okay, Rick Santelli, thank you very much. Good setup for some of our conversations that we're going to have here at the Milken Global Conference, where
what the hell is the Milken Global Conference?
And some key policymakers are here. We're going to have a conversation next hour with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who is delivering a policy
in the next
speech
half hour.
In the next hour, and then
Well, that's
going to
move the market.
to us exclusively. Also, we'll talk to some of the other Trump officials. FCC Chair Brendan Carr is here, also very much in the spotlight, of course, with some of his actions. Look, it's been a very busy 100 days, I think, for both of these two gentlemen on the policy front. For Bessent, you know, trade obviously is front and center, but I think he's really trying to bring the conversation, David, to the three-pronged strategy. The tax deal, which he's very much in the throes of negotiating, has set a new
potential
sort of
lower
July
high,
4th
potential higher low, as in potential
and
consolidation.
As well, which I think
we got
the
that pop,
administration is expecting
push
to
all the
start
way
to
back
come
down to
fruition now
VWAP,
that the regulators
sweeping
are in place.
this recent
He
low.
set it all up with the Wall Street Journal op-ed this weekend, and I just wanted to read some of it for you because I think it speaks to what Rick was just reporting on the economic data. He's setting up, he says, for a second half that is strong. The American people should expect.
All right, I'm turning that off for the second Milken Global Conference. It sounds like the Treasury Secretary is going to be on at 10:30. So if I seem to be forgetting about that, please yell at me in chat to get it over, because obviously whatever he does or doesn't say could have a huge influence on the market, not just today, but obviously for days to come. So let's just, like I said, if it's, I thought I heard her say about 10:30. So let's circle back to that. The Milken Institute. 5 minute tried to break out bullish, got smacked. 10-minute tried to break out bullish, got smacked. The 30-minute tried to break out bullish, got smacked. 5-minute holding bullish, 10-minute holding bullish, 30-minute try to break out, got smacked. So after the 9:45 and that 10 a.m. announcement, things tried to get going, but the issue was starting at 10:03, someone started to puke their position. Actually, it started at 10:01, and then it really sped out at 10:03. But see how the delta just dropped? And this was the 1-2 combo punch. Calls were getting sold and puts were being bought. So you're losing positive delta and simultaneously adding negative delta, which is why that sped up so incredibly quickly. Now, I should say that I think it might just be a brutal fake out. I'm looking at the bulls currently defending VWAP here. You could probably see it better on this one. So if we just look at the generic structure, you had all these higher highs and higher lows. Then all of a sudden you had a lower high, but we really didn't take out these recent lows. So I'm curious. I'm very, very curious of how this one's going to play. Very, very curious. Looking at the recent high, looking at the recent low, do we break? And then upon this break, which it looks like we're about to break out, on the next pullback, do we go below this value? Because we had a nice bullish trend, and now we're kind of in that awkward in-between zone of, is it switching? Is it not switching? And time will tell. Time will tell, time will tell, time will tell. As I kind of said, not only to the Discord this morning, but also to all of you beautiful guys and gals. Today did seem to be a bit more of a choppy, noisy day. It didn't seem like anyone was really dominantly in control. Well, are we getting this bounce right here? Just a higher low bounce? The SPY is starting to pick up. SPY is starting to pick up. So we did just puncture that high, but now the question is how low is it going to pull back? We did puncture that high. And like I said, so we're kind of higher highs, higher lows, potential lower high, kind of swept some lows, but then we bounced and we just made a fresh high. Is this the little fake out? Or is this actually the buying opportunity of a lifetime? Time will tell, time will tell. I'll let you know much, much more clearly after today ends if this was the point to buy or sell. I may not know it now, but you just give me till 4 p.m. till day. Just today. I'm not even asking for a week. Just give me a portion of one business day, and I'll tell you at 4 p.m. if we should have bought or sold right here. And I will have very, very high accuracy. So do I know it now? No. But just give me a couple hours. Just give me a couple hours, and then I'll let you know what's good. Someone said, look at the 10-minute. The 10-minute try to get going. Getting a little bit smacked right now. Getting a little undecided candles. That's what I'm seeing too. I'm seeing a lot of undecided candles. The shortest time frame, potential shoulder, head, shoulder, just snapped that line, but we're also just coming up to VWAP. We're just coming up to VWAP. Let me see. Ooh, that is interesting. What does the flow look like? What does the flow look like? Not the best. Not the best by any means, but also not the worst either.
Order submitted.
Basically, my thought was here is after this puke, we just saw a high, a higher high, and a higher low. Basically, I'm playing a super, super rudimentary technical setup. After this puke, going back in line with the larger time frame of the 10-minute, we just saw a fresh high right here. We broke above that, and then also this was the low, and we seemingly made a higher low. So maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. I have no freaking clue. I have no freaking clue. I would love for VWAP to hold. I would love for this low to not be taken out. I would say this is a a B to a B minus setup, and what's bringing this down is actually how weak the options flow is. I'm playing it, hopefully, I don't know, it's kind of dangerous catching a falling knife, hoping this is the bottom delta of the day and we start to pop. In my head, I also know the fact that we do have this support here at 5635. So this isn't an A plus setup. We also whoa. Okay, remember this morning how there was a ceiling today at 5675? That is now gone. That whatever that player was is now adios, amigo. There was a bunch of sold calls. That player dropped, and sold calls. So there was a call credit spread this morning, seemingly a call credit spread, 5675, 5690, 95. It could have been an independent position, but sometime between market open and now, we had this position. It was 2,000 contracts, disappeared. This one was 100 contracts and that disappeared. But I'm just pointing out how we did have that node there this morning and it's just now not. So worthwhile to kind of keep your eye on. Worthwhile, and we're getting to the point where potential double breakout fake right here. We went slightly higher, and it was just no follow through. Absolutely no follow through. So that is a huge bummer for me. Huge bummer for me. Really thought that could get going, especially because I saw, you can see it now that just dropped, but when I based the trade, I was more so seeing this. I was like, okay, we're starting to ramp up. Maybe we can get going. Nope, smashed. And that's exactly why I'm not really swinging for the fences on a day like today. Just because we're waiting. We're just waiting. No free lottery ticket today? No, as of now. The only way I'd get a free lotto ticket is if we somehow make a new intraday high, which isn't out of the question. It's risky because it's a VWAP bounce. Either we bounce and we take out the intraday high, which is all the way up here, and I get a free trade, or we get smacked and go below VWAP. It's all dependent on people who are about to trade. I don't know what they're going to do. I would love for buyers to step in and for people who are selling to leave. I would really, really like that. Unfortunately, it just isn't going that way. I saw the overshoot, the bounce. I waited for it to take out the high. I waited for the drawdown. I waited for it to seem as if it were a higher low. I waited for it to push, and it did. So I gave it 2 tries where it made fresh highs and higher lows. And even with that, being truly patient, like waiting for the setup that I wanted, like not front running anything, not chasing this at the top, even then you kind of get smacked. Because remember, when you put on a trade, the next movement, the next bar, it's decided by people who are about to trade after you. Are they bullish? Are they bearish? So unless you have insights of what that like gigantic group of unknown variables is, there's always going to be risk to it. There's always going to be risk to it. Warren Buffett weighing hard on the market, it seems. I don't really buy that one. Apple is getting really, really hit. So maybe it's like a secondary thing. Maybe people are thinking, oh, if Buffett drops a bunch of Apple, like I kind of see what you're saying, but I don't think it's like that straight up of a play. But folks, I should remind you, I do want to remind you that even though it's seemingly not looking good for me right now, I do have on my Lucky Buffalo shirt. And if history of this channel tells us one thing, it's really, really difficult to beat a person who is wearing one of his most lucky outer garments. So I just want to throw that out there, whether you want to take that into your analysis, whether you agree with me or if you want to fade me. And I'm not at all saying you should agree with me or you should fade me, but I am saying that's probably a viable input to your calculation to please understand I do have on my Lucky Buffalo shirt. I was feeling good about it for a second there, but as soon as I started talking about it, the market took a bit of a hit. We just haven't gone anywhere since 10:08. We sold off, we popped up, and we are just now flat sideways. We sold off, we popped up. So yeah, caught up in a non-trend, not bullish, not bearish. 5 minutes bullish, or it's on top of the EMA. So 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minute has 13 minutes to go, but potentially bullish. And then looking at the NASDAQ, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. So the momentum side of things is favoring the bulls. Unfortunately, the options flow side of things is favoring the bears. So we're getting 2 different things. Price momentum favors the bulls. Price momentum favors the Bulls, and then options flow currently favoring the Bears. So that's a mismatch. And then in terms of price itself, we're just now flat. Like we're literally just like in this pain in the ass region where we haven't gone anywhere. So let's just wait. Patience. The SPY picking up a little bit, but I'm not seeing anything on the options flow. And Mag 7's actually at its lowest reading of the day. So one of these is right and one of them is wrong. Either price momentum's right and options flow is wrong, or options flow is right and price momentum's wrong. So I picked to go with price momentum today. Why did I do that? I don't know. I guess the overall structure. I thought I saw higher highs and higher lows, but right now, it's not looking the best for me, team. If we get up to, I might aggressively move my stop up because, like I said, I'm not really loving this play. I am not loving this play. Where can I do it? At what point can I still give myself a realistic chance of letting this go, but then also minimizing my risk? So of course I can move it up right now, but then the odds of it whipsawing back and just like tagging me out are really, really high. So it's kind of like, what is that nice balance? What is that nice balance? Now, my life would be easy if we just got this range breakout and it ripped and I didn't have to think anything of it and if it never tests me. But the chance of me being that lucky is slim to fucking none, brother. It is slim to none. I feel like if we get up somewhere in this region, it would be inappropriate of me to not move my stop to break even somewhere in this 11-point region up here, because I'm looking at 100, I'm looking at 110. It really does feel like if we get up here, I should just take all risk off the table. And if it hits, it hits. And if it doesn't hit, whatever. You live to fight another day. Move to VWAP. We're already above VWAP, brother. Trade deal announcement, hopefully. Maybe, but also hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first, brother. See which one fills up first. All right, I'm going to set an alert for a SPY high. I'm also going to set an alert for a Q high. Meta, here, let's go to the 3 minute just to clean this up a bit. 3 minute. All right, those alerts are set. And then I'm also going to be setting up a reversion alert for my own personal trades on the day. All right, I got some alerts. They're probably going to be loud and annoying. My apologies if that happens, but I think it'll be worth it if we hear the upside breakout. If we hear the reversion alert, your boy's not going to be too happy. Mag 7 is pretty much at the low. The SPY is almost triple. Well, I was literally about to say triple bottoming, and as I was saying that, you guys just saw a huge push to the downside. Oh, do I just do it now? I mean, we're so close, but I could just take all my risk off the table. Come on. I just want to take my risk off the table, and then we'll let Lady Luck do what Lady Luck does best. Maybe I'm on the right side of it. Maybe I'm on the wrong side of it. This is seemingly not updating. See how these numbers are changing. These numbers are not changing. Well, that can't be good. But it shows that they're all in here. I think I'm having some sort of data issue because these numbers won't update, but it is showing all of these positions. Huh. See, and this is what I was talking about, is like, if I moved it that aggressively, it was just so close in terms of nominal value that just like the chance of getting wicked out, like just they're giving it no room to breathe. Now, of course, if this is the high, you should have done that. But once again, if it's just a pullback and a higher low and we bounce, then you'd be like, okay, why didn't I give it room to breathe? And it's in retrospect, it's really easy to beat yourself up, like really, really easy to beat yourself up. I'm just going to let it play out. Just going to let it play out. We'll see if I'm on the right side or the wrong side today. Why don't you do 50-50? What do you mean 50-50? Explain what you mean by 50-50. If you're saying go long in half and short in the other half, you can't do that on funded performance accounts. You could do that on eval accounts and they're not going to get pissed off. But if they catch you doing that on funded performance accounts, they will not pay you out. They will not pay you out. Mag 7 flow still at the low of the day. SPY is also at the low of the day. So once again, fuck, dude. I don't know. I was trying to side with momentum today, being on the right side of all the EMAs. But today it looks like the flow is a little bit stronger than momentum. The options flow is seemingly keeping us in check today. Yeah, we didn't make that fresh high. All right, we don't need that. We don't need that. We're even coming up to this trend line. Not the most stoked, folks. It feels like I'm taking a 50-50 flip here of do we bounce off this trend line or do we break? It looks like we found some support. It's also now a trend line. I suppose for the luck of my trade, I need buyers to kind of step in right now to still have any shot. We have some little trend line support, recent lows. Maybe it can bounce and then break out of this overall triangle structure, these lower highs and these higher lows, but it's getting dicey. It's getting dicey, and the reason I'm feeling particularly awkward about it is because the Mag 7 won't stop bleeding, and the SPX was looking good until about 10:01, and then at 10:03, it really started to accelerate to the downside. But hey, we got a bottom somewhere. I'm just praying that we can bottom sooner rather than later. Oh, come on. Yeah, we never broke 100. I just didn't have good reason to move my stop up. We only went 15 points in my favor. It was just too small. I see a double top. Okay. Other people see higher lows. That's what I'm saying. Technicals really don't have predictive power. I think they have good risk management capabilities. But in terms, remember, looking at price, if you're looking at technicals, you're looking at where price has been. That's inherently backwards looking, not forwards looking. So as people like, there's no, if you look at like hedge funds and investments, like people with legit money, none of them are sitting there and saying like, yo, did you see these technicals? It's just not a thing. And then beyond that, even if you do or don't care that big money is or isn't looking at it, let's just say you take that out of the equation. Think about what technicals are. Technicals are where price has been. And then the argument has where price has been. Does that have any predictive capabilities for where price is going? Looking at price, i.e. looking at technicals, by definitions is backwards looking. That's what it is. You're looking at where price was at a moment in history. And obviously to make money, you care about where price is going. So I would just be, I'm not against technicals. I'm just saying you really, really need to be in the forefront of your mind, know the capabilities of the tool. Like know the capabilities of the tool set, the tool suite, or the specific tool you are using. And I see a lot of people, especially within the retail space, misusing technicals, thinking that technicals have some sort of forward-looking capabilities, and they don't. I'm not against technicals. I think they're a really, very good tool, especially for you to set your risk. And so like, I like it in the lens of risk management, but in terms of price prediction, no. No. I see pride. I see power. I see a badass motherfucker who don't take no crap from nobody. Cool runnings. Hey, Matt, what do you use for real-time tracking analysis of your large unusual options? Anything? The best options analytics tool by far, and I've used them all, it is Spot Gamma. That's what I use over here. Folks, I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on all of the major analytics real-time data platforms. I'm telling you this, the best one, the second place is comically far away. It is Spot Gamma. I've used them all. I've used every single one, and it is not even close. Spot Gamma is by far the best options analytics tool. Reopen, get cucked, get out now, get out What? Cypher Solutions. There's a reason why I'm on this side of the camera and you're on that side of the camera. It's all right. I'll manage my trades. You can manage your trades, and at the end of the year, we're gonna see where it ends. We're gonna see how it nets out at the a full year of trading, a full month of trading, a full quarter of trading. On any individual trade, no one knows, folks. I think a lot of people just don't understand the fact that like one individual trade in itself should not matter. If you are using proper risk management abilities, one individual trade should not be the end all be all to you. If it is, it means you're most likely trading way too big. And whatever, dude, if you do a trade, you can basically chalk it up to a 50-50 shot. So if you're like, hey, you got that coin flip wrong. Okay, yeah, I got that coin flip wrong. But I truly believe my risk management capabilities with effectively these 50-50 shots and whatever, call it your gut feel on the market. I believe in the long term, I'm more than happy to compare mine against yours. Oh, Besant's on. Is that why the market's a little bit crazy?
And seized the entire enclave. An Israeli official says Trump's visit to the Middle East later this month. As many as 24 of the 59 hostages still in Gaza are believed to be alive. Israel has called up tens of thousands of reservists to prepare for that escalation. Jury selection is set to begin today in Manhattan in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors allege he used his music and business empire to run a criminal enterprise and abuse women for decades by coercing them to participate in drug-fueled sex parties. He has repeatedly denied the accusations. The trial is expected to last 8 to 10 weeks. President Trump is expected to announce this afternoon the nation's capital will host the 2027 NFL draft for the first time.
Potential trend line breakdown here.
A source tells NBC News the aim of this is to hold the event on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.
Mag 7 vomiting.
The NFL has declined to comment. Let me send it back to you, David, at Milken.
Okay, I will take it. Thank you. Coming up here, Blackstone's John Gray is going to join me. That's just a few minutes from now. Of course, hey, you want to hear about data centers? That's your man. We're back in a moment.
We're back in a moment. Hang on. There was seemingly another thing just hit the wire. Mexico's President Sheinbaum. I have had good communication with Trump. We've reached deals. You would think that news would send the market to the high heavens. Like this literally just hit the wire less than a minute ago. Mexico's President Sheinbaum, I have had good communication with Trump. We've reached deals. Trump says he did offer Mexico to send U.S. troops to help take care of the cartels. India offers 0-for-0 tariffs on auto ports and steel from the U.S. Some of the news hitting the wire like right now in real time. I'm surprised we didn't get just the bots overreacting to the news and sending us up a quick 100 points. Truly surprised. Obviously, I'm watching this downsloping trend line on the SPY and the Qs. I'm also watching this upsloping trend line on SPX. We're just getting a consolidation. There's nothing you can really say like, if you're looking at this particular time frame, obviously different time frames have different biases. If you're looking at a similar time frame to me, when you see lower highs and higher lows, by definition, that is not trending. By definition, that is literal consolidation, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to wait to see, oh, do we break out? If we do, is it real? Do we break down? If we do, is it real? If you're looking at the intraday chart on the S&P 500 right now, you can't really say anything. Lower highs, higher lows. The fact that we had such a bullish push here, the odds do suggest that it has a slight favoritism towards the bulls just because the part of the flagpole that we ripped on was bullish. So it gives it a slight edge, but it is just a slight edge. I think the real takeaway here is that price is simply not trending. So we just got to wait. Just got to wait. Obviously, the 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute are all bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute are all bullish. But that's with respect to price momentum. If you look at options flow, the Mag 7 is getting stomped, and the S&P 500 did get stomped, and now it's flat at its low of the day. So it kind of, this situation, price is doing nothing. Price momentum is bullish. Options flow is bearish. So it's kind of a choose your fighter type of a situation. And really the best trade was probably no trade and waiting for something here to come into alignment. Something to come into alignment. I thought they said 10:30. I thought they said it. Well, I have the audio on just in case. I don't want to miss that. The Qs are now looking a bit weaker. Earlier today, they were looking a bit stronger. Both the SPY and the Qs got rejected at their high from last Thursday. That's the dash green line. Both got smoked right at that level. And then ever since 10:07, 10:08, we've gone nowhere.
Starting today, some new restrictions out of JP Morgan when it comes to sending payments via Zelle. For that, we're going to turn to Leslie Picker to explain. Hey, Leslie.
All right. Well, I don't think we specifically care about that. SPY is not looking good. Mag 7 is just diving right now. That's why we're not getting anywhere. You're just seeing all these puts being bought. You're seeing all these calls getting sold. The market, that momentum, like, it's pretty, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just visually right in front of you. They are smashing calls. They are smashing puts. And it has not stopped since 10:03 on the Mag 7. The combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. And I believe specifically you guys were properly calling out that Apple was just getting destroyed. It was looking somewhat decent up until then. Yes, we had lower highs, lower lows, then it based, and then it popped. But this is getting pretty freaking extreme. Pretty freaking extreme of how bad that is. The SPY's less extreme, kind of choppy up until those 10 a.m. announcements. Then it got hit. Then it was flat and indecisive. Then not only was price making new highs, so was the delta. And then same thing, like it just a little bit later, the bottom fell out and we just got another puke to the downside. And right now it's paused. I don't know if it's going to keep puking or obviously bounce, but what I can tell you is roughly from 10:24 until now, it's a bit more flat. But literally as I'm speaking, we just saw some longer duration delta drop pretty heavily. And we're seeing that being reflected in price. Unfortunately, the Qs are taking out that recent low, which probably should have been my risk point. Do I just want to cut this and end my day and just be like, you know what? Today's shit. I'm thinking about it. Strongly thinking about it. You know what? Just take a 1 unit loss on the day and then just basically survive to fight another day. Because we're just seeing conflicting information. And when you're seeing conflicting information, you don't know which one's going to be right. So instead of taking that risk of praying that whatever breaks in your favor, you could always just not play it. A little bit more of a survival mindset, if you will. A little bit more of a survival mindset. All right, we are quickly speed running to the low at 10:06 on the SPY and the low at 9:51 on the Qs. We might have a little bit of support right here. I'm not really 100% sure. What was that low on NQ? I'm trying to find these similar lows. That was 85.86. 85.86. Is this actually going to do? No, dude, look at that. 10:03. We've now had 30 minutes of just the Mag 7 options flow getting decimated. Someone turned on, and even on this pump, they just didn't stop. Even on the price pump from 10:06 to 10:19, they just didn't care. They are just using this to sell their calls and buy puts. While SPX did hit a fresh low, but it's much more flat. It had a sell-off, flat, sell-off, flat. Wow. Wow. Maybe they'll find support at this low from Friday on the Qs. But then again, maybe not. It broke that trend line. There's people going to be piling into that. There's definitely going to be people piling into that trade. Huh. Ooh, I am not liking this in the slightest. I'm going to give my trade an opportunity to bounce out of here to see if we have dip buyers at the previous low. But if I don't see the dip buyers coming in, I'm just going to throw in the white towel on this particular trade. I was betting on this follow through really somewhere in here, 10:18. We got these fresh highs off higher lows. Unfortunately, at 10:21, about 5 minutes after I got into my trade, the trend on the day did change. So that's going to happen. It sucks. Unfortunately, the Qs are getting hit more than the SPY. The SPY is still above this low at 10.06. The reason the Qs are overreacting is look how bad this is in the Mag 7. The SPY is getting hit a little bit, but nowhere to the same. Like the Mag 7 is getting hit. So it's getting hit. Which is exactly why ever since about 1018, you're seeing over-dramatic bearish reaction in the Qs relative to that same time period in the SPY. You could just see the clear difference in the flow, like just the clear difference. Occidental Petroleum CEO, I believe the Trump administration will remove obstacles for the U.S. oil and gas industry. Israel's Prime Minister, Netanyahu, we've decided on an intense operation in Gaza. India offers this year. Okay, yeah, we already read that one. All right. Obviously, this is my new risk point. Maybe I'll get lucky, folks. I don't know. We just bounced right back up to VWAP. I'm long at 75. Unfortunately, came all the way down to 10, which means I was down 65 points. We are getting a bounce back up, and honestly, it doesn't sound so bad to me to get out with only a 20-point loss. That's only $400. That's very, very survivable. For some reason, my data's not updating properly, but it is over here. There's something weird in this panel, but you can see the number. It's just not updating. I don't know why it's updating here right above my head, but up here it isn't. Oh, do I want to risk it? Because right now this could easily just be a lower high, and then if it vomits back through VWAP, I'm screwed. But what if this is dip buying and it comes all the way back up? What if? I'm just nervous because the mag set, that's a nice bounce. Look at the SPY is actually breaking out of its trend line. A fake out breakdown to rip all the way back high. The issue of why it's not going is because the mag 7 is so bad right now. But the SPY's picking up. Are they talking? Something's going on right now. Because I'm back all the way. Something's happening that the market starting at 1036 just popped.
Global Conference. Let's get right to our next guest. His name is Jonathan Gray. He's the president and COO of Blackstone, and we're in person together, which is always nice.
I like it.
It is not that guy. Something's going on, folks. The Mag 7 stopped. The SPX started popping. Oh, I feel like we're missing something. Something starting at 1036. Does anyone have any vision on any news? Shinebod, good communication with Trump. We've reached deals. That was minutes ago. That you're already late to that one. Nothing there. What about Walter Bloomberg? Anything here? Nope. India. That was 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So the Sheinbaum news and the Indian news, like I said, like literally just rewind the stream. I was surprised that this didn't pop the market. That was seemingly good, and that came out at 10:29. I'm surprised, and so that's when it was reported, so it probably was actually announced a couple of minutes before that, so let's just call it roughly 10:25. I'm really surprised at 10:25 we didn't just rip like all the way back here. Like, I'm surprised that announcement didn't get things going. So it could be a weird delayed reaction, but for whatever reason at 10:36, 10:37, we went from 20,000, like that was a 60-point pop. That was $1,200 per account pop. And I'm now being given the potential opportunity to get it out for break even. Or you know what I could do is just move my stop to 61 and just take on a 15-point risk and be like, you know what? I kind of got lucky that I got this recovery. To be fair, I held this probably way more than I should have, and I just got lucky with something that the market's reacting to. But maybe I don't lotto ticket play it, but maybe I just severely de-risk, because even if I get clipped, that's only $300, which is literally a third of a unit. So if I have one winning trade tomorrow, you know, like I pay it off. And then if it's there, I still somewhat give myself an opportunity to ride it up. Decisions. If I were a good trader, what would I do? If I were employed to be an actor and the job that I was acting required me to behave as a good trader, Like, let me cosplay for a second. Like, if I'm hired by Martin Scorsese, he's doing a movie on traders, and I am top half of the call sheet, and I'm a trader at this hedge fund, and my job is, like, I have to act like a good trader. Like, what would a good trader do? You know? I feel like that's the best way. I know deep down in my soul I'm not a good trader. The only way I could possibly be successful here is if I emulate, mimic, mirror. For those of you who are Pokemon fans, if I go into like a ditto mode where I can just absorb the likeness and the capabilities of a good trader, that's the real question. What would I do in that situation? What would I do in that exact situation? I'm liking that low. Well, I feel like at minimum, I need to move it up to here. That's the minimum movement. Taking some risk off the table. This would just make my life so... Uh-oh. Well, I don't like this. This high took out the one at 10.10 and 10.12, but it did not overshoot what we saw here at 10.20. So we took out some of these highs, but not all of them. Can we just double bottom here at 1060? This EMA line, can we just bounce? Because if we double bottom off of this, I'm definitely going to just move my stop up here. That's just an easy technical play. That's a really easy technical play. But for it to be something that I care about, I need us to take out that high at 90. Because that's just a nice double. Like, just come on. Just give me a little bit of follow through. Just give me a little bit of a follow through. So the SPY hit a new high. The Qs are struggling right now at this trend line. Maybe I could better visually show that over here. Right. This down sloping trend line. We tried to get the breakout, got smacked. Not that hard, but also not that convincing either. While the SPY, on the other hand, did make a new intraday high after its trendline breakout. Sorry, don't worry about that alert. That was nothing. I would love to see the Qs go above basically 486.77, the high that we saw at 1018. Meta's not really doing much right now. How's Palantir doing? Not much. Not much. Broadcom's picking up a bit. Tesla's getting hit. Microsoft's actually looking pretty good while Apple's getting hit. So Microsoft and Broadcom looking somewhat decent. Other ones were decent, and now they're just kind of not doing anything. Are you locked up in a world that's been planned for you? Are you feeling like a social tool without a use? Scream at me until my ears bleeding, taking heed just for you. Yeah. Quick question. Real sorry. Obviously you're going through something, so I hope you don't mind me interjecting. What the fuck are you talking about? What? And second, give me the number of your drug dealer, because they found you some designer shit that is not readily available on the streets. Like, Jesus. Alrighty. All right. I am de-risking. Do I just go for it? Like, straight up? I moved it to this recent low because just in case there's like a fake out snap here. But I'm wondering, can I be lucky enough to literally just move it to break even and take all risk off? What time is it? It's 10:46. The show ends in about 15 minutes. That's a consideration. I still have to pack. It'd be nice to start the week off with at least not having a red trade. It would just be so much easier if we took out 100. Like, it would just be such an... Right here, we're still like way too close, especially with these key levels. Like, just go up to 100. Like, why can't my life be easy? Uh-oh. We might be double topping and smacking her all the way right back. Just hold the trend line. It's not that difficult, is it? Oh, it's really struggling at this trend line. All right, how's the flow look? Mag 7 popped a little bit, going flat, potentially curling back down. S&P 500 had a nice pop, but even that is giving a little bit of it back right now. So I would say lack of trend on the SPY, and there was a massive bearish trend on the Mag 7 that maybe is just going flat. Well, hang on. Am I going to get lucky here? Do we have another high or low? Oh, we're only 10 points away, but dude, I am really thinking about just ending my misery and putting my stop up to break even. And then I just know if I do it right now, there's a very, very high chance I got wicked out. Because look at this. I would have been wicked out. Like there's just so many instances that it would be wicked out, which once again, that's a high probability. I mean, we're only 10 points away, but I'm really, really thinking about it. Really, really thinking about it. Do I want to take all my risk off the table? Do I want to take? I do want to take it. I'm just trying to think. Is what I want to do a smart trading decision? It would be an easier trading decision if we take out 100. Like if we just saw one candle pop up, no questions asked. Cool, do it. Bada bing, bada boom. The issue is we're really not that far away from my entry. And when you're not that far away, the statistical chance of you just, even if you're on the right side of it just hitting you, it's high. I mean, why can't I'm awkwardly talking through it with all of you guys just to see if it will give me a chance of like, just give us a little pop here. The SPY's hanging out. The Qs are hanging out. Like, just pop. Just do it. We're having an issue at not only the trend line, but the one standard deviation move of price. We're running right into a wall here at 90. Oh. I'm trying to do everything in my power to let this breathe. But we're just not. Look at 1, 2, 3 tests right at 90. No less taking out 95, which was this high that we saw, and then obviously not even taking out 100. Like we're just on the struggle bus. We're just on the struggle bus. Microsoft is picking up. I like that. If Apple can stop bleeding, imagine how much better off the NASDAQ would look today if Apple weren't getting absolutely murdered right now. The Mag 7 is flat. It's not doing anything. And so is the S&P 500. It's flat. So the Delta flow is not really, even the Delta flow is now saying we don't know. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hours, all bullish over there. We're technically down on the day. We did recover above that trend line. So we had this fake out breakdown on one trend line, was a clear fake out breakdown, and then we popped. We're running potentially into an issue at 64, which is still a pain in the ass because I don't really have anything major on the charts up till 75. So the fact that it's getting smacked still 10 points early, oh, what a painful trade. Well, not painful. It's just not an easy trade. I can't say it's painful because I'm literally in the green right now. So that's not necessarily true. What do we have in terms of these gamma levels? I do find it interesting that this gamma level at 75 is now gone, like just disappeared. So there's like a smaller one at 85, but the fact that 70 or 75 or whatever the hell this one was, that left, that should be beneficial towards the bulls because then you're really not running into an issue until 85. The fact that that position was pulled and we're not going, man. All right. There's only one thing that could solve this. There's only one thing that could possibly solve this at this point. We're breaking them out. We're breaking out the tarot card set. We're breaking it out. We're breaking it out. We're giving it a good mix. 3, 2, 1. All right. What is this? The sun. What the fuck does that mean? What in the world could that mean? All right, I got to read this quick while this position is live. The sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. The sun shining with radiant energy. The sun is celebrated in myths and stories from around the world from every era, an acknowledgement of the vital role in sustaining life. When the sun card comes up in the tarot spread, you know that you have the vitality and enthusiasm necessary to handle whatever lies ahead, and the chances are that the adventure and merriment are in store for you. The sun suggests that it is your turn to shine, and events are in your favor. There may be a promotion or some other piece of good fortune in the offing, or perhaps others are drawn to the brightness and energy that you are now exuding. This is a wonderful time for socializing and fun. Don't waste this opportunity. When you are at the center of the universe, our desires become achievable and we need to seize the day. The sun suggests that it is your turn to shine. Huh. Well, I don't know what to tell you, folks, but it doesn't get much more fucking obvious than that one, does it? It doesn't get much more in our face about what's going on. Where are we at? Where's the flow? Mag 7 is flat on this Friday. All expiration tilting a little. S&P 500 taking a bit of a hit after more of a pop. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hours all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 34. That's all bullish. We're, for whatever reason, well, we're back below that trend line that honestly might not matter much anymore. We do have this target at 75 that disappeared, and it's down closer up to 85. And we just pulled the tarot card. It feels like I'm on the right side of it. According to the tarot masters, I am. I guess now Vicent is going to talk. He is? He is or he isn't? He is or he isn't? I still really have to pack. I've been in this trade for a minute. We almost hit 100. Bada bing, bada boom. He does it again, folks. Will he make money? Will he lose money? Nobody knows. But what I can tell you for fucking sure is I'm not going to lose money. I'm not going to lose money. As if I would on this holiest of holidays. We're going to see how it goes, folks. Don't care now. Either I end today exactly how I started or I make $25,000. Bada bing, bada boom. I would appreciate it if we could easily break through 100. I would really appreciate it is if we don't get tripped up here at 100. We take out this previous high at like 111 and then we just pump right to my max target on the day. On the day. Come on, just follow through for me. Follow through. All I care about is I'm not risking anything. My stop is at break even. So in the worst case scenario, even if we turn around, which obviously we easily could, nothing. I finish how I started and there's no financial punishment to me. Speaking of that, all right, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. Obviously, not a signal to just arbitrarily copy, but if you understand its basis and you agree with it, hey, have at it. But it's more so to paint people's bias on the day, and the strength of said bias is probably the best way I could possibly explain it. Come on. All right, we're trying to battle it out at 100. I just need 26.25. That profit's been in there ever since I got in the trade. I have not messed with it. I've not been increasing or decreasing my levels of greediness. I'm sticking to exactly what the plan tells me to do, and that is exactly what the plan tells me to do. But I could be a little bit fancy, if you will, and move my stop up to this level, guaranteeing myself $400 on the day, which is something I'm strongly considering. Might not have to consider it. Go. All right, folks. Cheer with me. Pump. Good people make money. Good people deserve money. If you know the words to this particular chant, just say them with me. The sun shines upon us. Come on. All right, we got up to 15, so I need about 11 more points. We could do it. Calm, cool, collected. This is what we're here for. Sun. Good people make money. This is why I'm a fisherman on the Mississippi. I deserve this. My name is Matt, and I am worthy. My name is Mateo. Yo soy worthy. Me llamo Mateo. Yo soy fuerte. Whatever that. Do we have any Spanish speakers in here? How do you say worthy? Me llamo Mateo. Yo soy fuerte. I should probably look that one up. Move your stop up. I'm strongly considering it. Percent in 2 minutes? Well, bro, is he really coming on right when I'm like this close to what I need? Valiosa. I am thinking about just going right to this level and just saying whatever. If I make 400, I make 400. Green's green, money's money, especially on a day like today where with these accounts, my main focus is to not blow out. This would be a nice gain too. I'm not even that far away. Right now, they're all up $650. Come on. Don't do this to me. What is this one? Turkey president invites Trump. What was that? Trump's eating turkey? Uh-oh. All right. We're not getting the follow-through I would specifically like. If I'm being completely 100 with you guys. I don't know why that alert went off. That was not appropriate. Can it hold 100? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no. Come on, just bounce and go. The tarot cards told me that the sun will be shining upon me today. It tells me fortune is on my side. Maybe just a little double bottom pop there. Come on, just pop it. The high right now is 15. And this was a previous high. Come on. Mi amo Mateo. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Bro, this is the slowest fucking grind. Do I do it? Why can't it just be easy? It's just one green bar. Just quickly hit it. All right, where's this percent guy?
An inflation flare-up.
Well, I think we're gonna know a lot more at the end of May. There's a lot of uncertainty about tariff.
The Mag 7 is drifting up now.
We may enter into a recession. We may already be in a recession.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so there's going to be this tension
between... Shut up. Shut your mouth. Some of us are actual professionals in the Wall Street space. Some of us aren't cosplaying in a suit on TV talking about the economy. Some of us are actually in the trenches doing the work, day in and day out, keeping the degeneracy at max levels. Some of us fake it of, look at me, I manage billions of dollars, I own a fancy suit and know fancy monetary policy words. While others of us are trading a much, much smaller account on a relative size, having no idea what we're doing, and we're in the trenches day in and day out. Some of us take care of the trenches. Other people just sit there on their TV and they talk about the trenches. It's starting? Son of a bitch. I thought I was going to get lucky and be able to get out of this before he started talking. It's on Vimeo at the Milken Institute.
To explain that in a world that has created some $500 trillion in wealth, 1 in 11 people on the planet live on under $2 a day. Or that tuberculosis, a totally preventable and curable disease, killed 1.3
No, triple topped here at 15.
Or that nearly 2 billion people
Dude,
still live without the internet,
come on.
which in today's world means no access to basic education, telemedicine, or economic opportunity. These aren't just numbers. These are actual lives, and a sobering reminder that the distance between what we can do and what we
to be fair, they are also
still far
numbers.
too wide. We need to close this gap. But how? We know that innovation and opportunity must go hand in hand. Breakthroughs in biotech, AI, and fintech are moving at an exponential pace. But if those breakthroughs benefit only the few, then we're failing. Technology should not be a luxury. It should be a lever.
Go.
Expanding access to healthcare, to capital, and to opportunity.
This guy is actually going to bore me to tears. No one cares about what a dude in a suit, even if he is the CEO of... This guy's name is Richard Did It So? Dick Did It So. Hey, put her there, pal. My name, it's Did It So. Dick Did It So. Reminds me of the, what's it in the Fairly Odd Parents? The Dimmadome. From the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Hey, put her there. I'm from the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Dude. Ay caramba. Ay caramba. Vamos, mi amigo. Verde, 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 verde. Verde. Más, más. Más, más. Dude, seriously? What's this doing to me? Doug Dimmadome. From the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Doug Dimmadome. Nothing, dude. Oh. Do I do it? Do I protect myself like a smart trader? It would guarantee me $400 per account. I have 25 accounts. Be almost 10K on the day. All right. I'm doing the smart thing. I move my stop up to that low. No matter what, I make $400. I have 25 accounts. You could do the math, but it's around 9K. So worst case scenario, I make 9K today, which you can't complain about because 9K is 9K. Like, just, it is what it is, you know? So I either make 9K or I make 25K. Those are the two pathways.
Order filled.
Well, that was crazy.
Order canceled.
What the fuck was that? Is Basent popping off, dude? Is Basent popping off right now? That was something. I guess it's good that I put in my orders. That was wild. Yeah. So I got a little bit of an unfortunate fill there. But $400 per account, can't complain. Made some good money. Specifically, I made 9.5K. So, I mean, knowing my luck, it's going to rip up there right now, but whatever. I protected it. I see green, and I have flights and whatnot to worry about, so I can't complain that much. Just locked it in, Made some money, way better than what I was set up to lose, which was like at one point, what was I down? Like 1,200. So at one point being down 1,200 to actually lock in 400. Unfortunate that it dipped that much that rapidly, but that was real crazy. What the hell happened? Oh, the Mag 7 started to take a hit. And okay, so it was this right here. For whatever reason, the SPX just got dumped, which was prompted enough volatility that it knocked me out. And of course, like I said, guaranteed, knocks me out, it rips, dude. It was written in the stars. I can't complain that much because I made money. Obviously, if I kept my risk at break even, it would have never tagged me. But also, if I didn't do that, knowing my luck, it would have come down just enough to make it so I made no money and then it popped. So the fact that I'm whatever, not just my head above water, but legit making money, like I said, you could total that up. That's about 9K. Just is what it is. It is. This guy, that was wild though. And it was so vicious because of the aggression of this dump in the SPY. Look at someone, just a huge block order of long 0 DTE puts, dropped the delta quite a bit. Anyway, that's it for me. I mean, I'm not going to do anything now. That was pretty much it. So, I mean, I made money. Of course, I didn't make what I wanted, but it's actually going even right now. It's not that far away from what dude, if I took on that risk, it would almost be hitting. Mine was up here at 26. I would only need it where my cursor is right up here and it's going for it. But on the flip side, on this dump, it could have got way worse. So you never know the next bar. Of course, there's like that. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. I would be getting my full profit target all the way up where my cursor is up here. But on this drop here, you don't know if it's news or really, like that could have easily capitulated. So like to hold yourself to the stand, like right here, without knowing the next bar, without you knowing that, this could actually be legit bad. And whatever, it took out a previous low, you protect yourself. It just so happens that this one broke to the upside, well, kind of, and now it's looking a little sketchy. So it's a noisy, choppy, messed up day. There's not like much of a follow through. So I don't mind that at all. I kept my head above water. And the fact that I'm green, even though at one point I was down 1,200 and I was able to lock that in, yeah, it got unlucky. But hey, it is what it is. All right. Obviously, shout out to Public. If you're an options trader or an inspiring options trader, check out what's pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. If you want to trade with someone else's money, right now, Take Profit is the best deal. So just make sure to use that code Goonie when you're checking out on Take Profit to get the deal. There's going to be no show tomorrow. I do have to go do an options conference down in the sunny state of Florida. So I'm actually right after this catching a flight down to Florida. So I'm going to be doing that, hence why there's no show tomorrow. If there's any major updates or anything along that world, I'll be check my Twitter. If you're in the Discord, I could always send out a locals message or something like that. But right now, what I'm seeing in the market today is just we're not setting up where one side is clearly in control and you could catch that nice trend. So I recommend that if you get up some good money, move your stop to break even and let it ride. And maybe if you get there, you get there. And if you don't, but today is very much setting up to be like kind of a choppy, shitty day as of at least now. I would say a little bit the bulls are in control just because we have higher highs, higher lows, but we also have the gap down. So it's just a little messy. Today's not like the day to be taking on those big risks. So I don't know. Be careful, crush it, make a shitload of money, and I will catch you guys when I catch you. But please respect your risk. And remember, this is a game of survival. If you can survive, then you could potentially win. But taking on outsized risk, especially in environments like this, simply not worth it. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. Good luck with the rest of your trading day. Love you all. Peace.